reaction too. But we got to start with a new game here.
Sure it is.
I don't even know if it's a real game. It's more of just a preview segment, but I thought of a little different way to do it. So I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm going to give you a stat and 2 options, and I want you guys to write your answer. Then we'll explain why as to which one you're picking in a sec. But essentially, it's who will have more. And I'm going to give you 2 guys for the upcoming season, a category. We're going to pick who will have more of each category. So we're going to start with touchdown passes. Who will throw more touchdown passes in 2023? 1 Deshaun Watson or 2 Aaron Rodgers?
Dang. These dudes, that's what I'm telling you, these off-season joints be tough. Like, you going to come with that one immediately, ASAP? Man, touchdown passes. Deshaun Watson, don't be having me looking crazy, bro. You don't have me out here looking crazy.
Yeah, these all should be pretty close. I hopefully we're not going to go clean sweep on all of these, but I am curious to see who is higher on certain players than others. And Rodgers obviously moving to a new team, coming off a down season. Deshaun Watson, 7 touchdowns in 6 games last year. Both guys looking to rebound to their MVP form. G. Bush, you ready?
Yes,
Earl,
sir.
you ready? Tyvis, you ready?
Yes.
Let's flip, see what you guys got. More touchdown passes. Aaron Rodgers, according to Tyvis. Watson from G. Wait, A-Rod off the shrooms been crazy. So you're picking Rodgers, Tyvis?
Yeah.
And the other 2 are picking Watson. G, I'll start with you because I see you gave me exact numbers. You have Watson with 2 more than Rodgers.
Yes. 2 more TDs for Deshaun Watson. Now, look, it's going to be close. And I think the reason it will be extremely close is because, Aaron Rodgers, I think, got one of the guys that's going to be – that Garrett Wilson is a monster. So I think the way he's going to get back shouldered up, some of the ways that he can place the ball and get it to him in these tight areas, I think he's going to have a really great year. But when I look on the other side of the football, I look at Deshaun Watson, and I like the weapons more. I like Elijah more. I know what I got in Cooper. We always talk about DPJ. I think that the overall collection of talent is better offensively. And I think because Deshaun Watson is going to be in the system more, have more control over what he likes and what he doesn't like, I think it's going to lead to him throwing a few more touchdown passes. But Aaron Rodgers, just on skill level, and being new to the Jet system, I think he'll be down a couple touchdowns. 35-32 Watson.
Earl, you doubling down on that?
Yeah, I think for me, you go back to last season when Russell Wilson first arrived in Denver, Deshaun Watson with his 6 games here in Cleveland. Quarterback's first year, new team, new city, new system, chemistry, right? Mm-hmm. You got to build that chemistry. There's going to be bumps in the road with that. And even though Aaron Rodgers is familiar with the offense, you still got your first year with a coach, first year with this team. The fact that Deshaun Watson has been here now for almost, 2 full seasons as far as the, just being inside the building, being around the team. He knows the playbook. He's comfortable with Kevin Stefanski. He's been working on this thing for a while. You got a chance to see him at OTAs. I just think chemistry will play a huge role in that, and I see him throwing for more touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers.
And Tyvis, you're on the other side. You said Rodgers because he's not on mushrooms, or is there a little more analysis you can provide?
No. Ever since he's discovered ayahuasca, he speaks at the psychedelics and everything. He's all in on this whole thing. And, he even came out and said that before he discovered ayahuasca, he was throwing, 27 touchdowns, 8 picks, something
Is that
like
legal?
That. Yeah, it is.
The CPA, that's crazy.
It's illegal. So, and he was speaking in Denver and Oregon. See, Denver and Oregon is legal to do all of these things. It's decriminalized.
I got you.
So, anyways, he said that, before he discovered ayahuasca, 27 touchdowns, 8 picks. Said after he discovered ayahuasca, 42 touchdowns, 8 picks. So the proof right there is in the pudding for him. He said that it has really unlocked him. The biggest difference between Deshaun and A-Rod is that A-Rod don't have a Nick Chubb that's getting paid, $20 million, something like that. He don't have to worry about him getting satisfied getting the ball. So with that being said, they have to justify them making this trade for Aaron Rodgers. Therefore, you have to put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands. He will be the one that's supposed to take them over the hump, because last year they were ready to go. They were just a quarterback away. I mean, Joe Flacco came and did some amazing things, but once Zach Wilson took back over, things slowed down. They expect Aaron Rodgers to come in, and if he continues to play, he was a 2-time MVP just, 2 years ago. If he plays like that and he has the weapons to do that, I think he's very capable of throwing those way more touchdowns, because, like I said, Breece Hall, is his name Breece Hall? Breece Hall is coming off an injury, so he's not going to be 100% healthy at the beginning of the season. That's time for Aaron Rodgers to really eat.
Let me ask you this question.
And on top of that, he got his OC back. He back with what's his OC that was with him in Green Bay? That got fired in Denver.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel
I
Hackett.
was going to ask you a question. When you were playing in the league and you're going against, Saleh is a defensive-minded head coach.
Yes,
right?
he is.
Did you find that there was any truth to the fact that sometimes defensive head coaches struggle with franchise quarterbacks? Or do you go into a game and say, well, look, I don't think they're going to let him loose like they should?
Well, I'll tell you what, the only time I really got to experience that, I don't know what you would consider Pete Carroll. I mean, whatever.
He's a defensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy.
Well, the offense there was kind of shaky there. When I was with the Jets, Todd Bowles was the head coach, and the offense was shaky there, but it was Sam Darnold's first year.
Yeah.
What I will say is that with the Jets situation, I don't think that's going to play a major part, because of the fact that Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers have already had success together. I think Robert Saleh is one of those guys who's going to be very hands-off. Pretty much how Stefanski is, where he only thinks about the offense at times and let the defensive coordinator handle it. Pretty much how Saleh will be with the offense. That's your thing. You run your thing, and I trust what you're going to get done. Obviously, we got you the quarterback that you were very successful with. Y'all should be good over there. I'm going to worry about this defense and the special teams, because that's the thing that I'm concerned about.
I mean, the same thing happened in Pittsburgh, right? Mike Tomlin is a defensive-minded head coach, and some of Pittsburgh's best offenses feature Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell. So it's the same situation. A guy that's a defensive-minded head coach but is smart enough to be hands-off and let the right people run the shit. So I think that I don't think it's going – I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a veteran quarterback, a Super Bowl champion, an MVP. He's a pro's pro. I just feel like there's going to be somewhat of an adjustment, getting adjusted to playing in a new division, a new city, somebody different in your ear and your helmet every single day. I just think it's a learning curve there. And
but he had the guy in his ear for
he had
his best seasons.
Yeah, I mean he has. I just think, man, this new scenario.
At the end of the day, it's the Nick Chubb thing. That's the thing.
You think so?
If Breece Hall was 100% healthy, maybe, because he was off to a MVP or a Rookie of the Year.
What if they signed Dalvin Cook?
They ain't signing no Dalvin. Dalvin Cook going to Miami. We need to stop acting like he not.
And we need to go to this second question and act like we is.
Yeah, just to clear something up, Hackett was Rodgers' offensive coordinator for 3 seasons, so he has more time with Hackett than Watson has with Stefanski. So just throwing it out there.
And didn't he bring all his receivers too?
Yeah, they got Cobb and Lazard, so he's got familiarity, but just throwing it out there. Okay, next one. Who will throw for more yards this year? Not touchdown, passing yards. Watson or Jalen Hurts?
More yards?
Just yards, not touchdowns, just passing yards.
Oh, it's easy.
We had a 2-1 split last time.
Who they running back? Penny, right? Rashard
Penny. Yeah, they got him from Seattle.
That's tough.
That's the point.
That's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Earl looks confident in his answer.
They got to justify that contract that he just signed. I'll tell you that.
Easy money.
Y'all ready? Let's see. G's definitely going with Watson. Watson's across the board. Tyvis, you went last time. You get to go first here. Is it close? I guess is the question.
Yeah, it's extremely close. I mean, the difference is that they're more, I guess we're a balanced team as well. I thought that Jalen Hurts had an unbelievable season last year, but he didn't throw for that many yards. They are a big RPO team, and a lot of the times he's so effective because of his legs. So he takes away some of his passing yards in that way. The thing I would say about what I've seen with the Browns is that, now that you got Elijah Moore and you moving him around, you're going to get him involved. Just even if he decided, well, I think they might have outlawed it now, but the one where they do the jet sweep and he just tosses it forward and he catches it, that's considered a pass. But I think they might have outlawed it this year. But if that's not the case, that's passing yards right there. I just think that they're going to get Elijah Moore more involved. He'll have the more mismatches, and I think they just got more passing threats. Now, don't get me wrong, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown is some dogs, but they still feed their run game, and they do a lot of running to open up the pass. And I think with Stefanski's new quarterback and his new offense, he will be more passing to open up the run.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Tyvis. I think Philadelphia put a lot of emphasis on the run game, and I think Jalen Hurts is actually a big part of their run game as well. Mm-hmm. And then Miles Sanders moving on. You got Rashad Penny coming in. We know Penny has potential, but he's dealt with injuries. Yep. He really hasn't lived up to that potential yet. Mm-hmm. And just knowing how they run their offense with the RPOs, and I think when you look at the Browns situation, there's more of a threat of a vertical pass game than there is necessarily with Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got guys with speed. I could just see situations to where Deshaun Watson is chunking the ball downfield for 40, 50-yard gains versus the, what Philadelphia might be doing, the RPO, possession receiver like A.J. Brown, things like that. Mm-hmm. I just think that the offense is a little bit more potent and a little bit more geared towards a quarterback being able to have higher passing numbers in Cleveland than it is in Philadelphia.
Well, I'll tell you what. Not about done. I've got my advocates over here. I've now amortized Deshaun Watson's passing schedule for the entire 2023 year. Now let's get right to it. I got him throwing for 4,800. People say I'm crazy. No, that's what I'm paying for. Like if I get in my car, I expect I'll be hurt. If you got a car that you think is nice and you get in and it don't work, you're gonna be mad as hell. If your payment is anything over $500, $300, you salty. I'm like, yo, I can go get me a used car and have it not start. What am I paying for? Deshaun Watson needs to have that new car smell. 4,800 yards. That is only 282 yards per game. If you're thinking that's crazy numbers, that's 282 a game. It's not crazy. My payments is under 300. Mm-hmm. Everybody like payments under 300. I can do a lot with that. Now Jalen Hurts, he got better receivers. I'll give it to him. I like their receiving core overall. I like A.J. Brown. I still don't know what the Titans was doing. Devontae Smith, I like him a lot. I like their tight end. But at the end of the day, I think there's more of a collective body of work here. I think Deshaun Watson is going to throw for 4,800. Jalen Hurts gets to about 4,001. He'll have a little bit of that's a good year for him. That's his best. That's his ceiling. That's Jalen Hurts' ceiling right there. 4,000.
Do you know, Mikey? Do you know what he had last year? I feel like it was like 3,900 yards.
Alabama yards.
He actually did not throw for nearly as many touchdowns as people think. No. Not touchdowns. He threw for 3,700 yards last year.
That's light. This is the best he's gonna be. Yeah. I'm giving him money right here.
You basically saying Deshaun Watson is returning to his 2024.
I've already said that. We were standing on that too.
Oh, I'm just making.
We're right on the shores on the Rock of Gibraltar.
Okay.
We got the next one. We're moving on from Deshaun Watson. We're getting into the running backs and receivers categories here. We talked about these two comparatively a lot, but is there a chance that Derrick Henry can have one more hurrah and run for more yards than Nick Chubb? Or is Nick Chubb the official rushing king of the NFL?
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Man. How many ways can you legitimately spell Derrick?
That is how he spells Derrick.
I know.
My brother spells it D-E-R-E-K.
Yeah, there's hundreds of spellings, I believe.
Earl's going with Henry in a surprise pick. So is that Henry as well, Tyvis? It is Henry. And G. Bush, is it a clean sweep for the Titans running back, or are you going with Chubb?
He killing me.
All three pick Henry. Earl, start us off. Why are you going with Derrick Henry?
Well, multitude of reasons, man. I just feel like that, anytime Nick Chubb is close to winning a rushing title or anywhere in the conversation, no matter if the head coach is Freddie Kitchens or Kevin Stefanski, they just stop giving him the football. And then you look at the situation with Tennessee. Derrick Henry is their offense, right? We talk about Deshaun Watson throwing for all these different yards, all these different weapons that the Cleveland Browns have. You said you seen the formation at OTAs. They had 4 wideouts, and Elijah Moore was in the backfield.
Yeah.
So just the different varieties of sets that the Cleveland Browns can throw at you on offense, the different amount of weapons that they have on offense, and then looking at the situation in Tennessee to where Derrick Henry is their offense, and he's still showing he got some tread on the tires. I just think Nick Chubb is going to have a great season, but Derrick Henry will outrush him yet again.
Tyvis?
Yeah, I mean, for all the reasons that Earl just said, like we really banking on Deshaun Watson to have this big year, and if that's the case, that's going to take carries away from Nick Chubb. Now, don't get me wrong, Nick Chubb, they tried to take the ball out of his hands a lot last year, but he was still very productive in what he did. But I just think that now that you got all these shiny new toys at wide receiver, I think Kevin Stefanski is going to be more open to, show his ability to, call these pass plays and, get his shiny new toys, their production on the field. And, like you said, in Tennessee, your quarterback situation is you got Ryan Tannehill that you're trying to move on from. You just drafted one. You drafted one last year. You got 3 quarterbacks that you don't know. You don't really have a number 1 receiver because Treylon Burks gets hurt all the time. So you have no choice but to give Derrick Henry the ball. I mean, he literally gets the ball 30, 35 times a game, and I don't think that's going to change. That's just, Coach Vrabel's a very old school style coach where he believes in defense and running the ball. And I think with that being said, Derrick Henry's going to get more touches, therefore he's going to equal more yards. And no matter how old he gets, if that big dude get moving, it's a lot of DBs that's going to move out the way and let him go on and run and get his yards. So I think that happens more times than not in Tennessee than in Cleveland.
Yeah, my 2 counterparts are correct here. Listen, anytime you got the law firm of Tannehill, Willis, and Levis, that equals you running the wing T in the NFL. That's actually an equation. This is Pythagorean's theorem on steroids right here. These dudes, these guys, I watched the last year when Malik Willis was playing in Kansas City. These dudes was running direct snaps. Anytime that you see the Wildcat, you know a team is waving the red flag. They're waving it. They're like, oh, listen, we have nothing in our playbook. Anytime you see a back there by himself, these guys are going to be running the ball, and Derrick Henry is the only offense they got. They have no receivers. As a matter of fact, they don't have no numbers in the 80s. Did you guys know that? They gave them all the way to charity. Now they only got 50 through 56. That's the only numbers they got left. No receivers to speak of. Derrick Henry wins the rushing title, but only by 52 yards.
That's close. That's actually a testament to Nick Chubb. All right, what about the next one, Steve? Your very next question. This is total touchdowns, not rushing, not just receiving. This is total touchdowns. Chubb or Austin Ekeler? Who has more in 2023?
Stop.
Who does Austin Ekeler play for?
The Chargers.
That's
Stop
easy.
it.
Didn't he want to get he wanted to leave?
Bad job.
Man, stop it. Don't do this. Don't even do this.
I bet you 2 have different ansers. You
Who?
guys are telling me. Oh, really?
Stop playing.
Really?
That's
Okay.
easy.
Stop playing. This man led.
It's ridiculous.
He led. Well, I ain't gonna say he led the league. He been up there in like the past 2 seasons.
Listen, it's a reason why he's always one of the top 3 fantasy running backs
I'm
off
telling
the
you,
board,
don't
man.
do this.
He catches he would catch one and run for. I've seen games where he's ran for 2 and caught 2 in the same game. Like, he's a touchdown machine.
Yeah.
If he don't do nothing else, man, he gonna score some touchdowns.
All right, so this was going to be.
Last year it was 17 to 15 for Ekeler, and you're going with close again. So 3 for Ekeler. You guys, I don't want to say you're sleeping on Chubb, but
Nah, I pick Chubb every year because it's a reason for me to watch the game with some anticipation. But this is close. Chubb going to have 13 touchdowns next year. He's going to have 13. He's going to get that off. Like, Ekeler, but I'm waiting for him to fall off, though.
Why?
He's a small body back. I don't really like his speed. I don't like his face mask.
No, man, Ekeler a complete back. He can run in between the tackles, outside the tackles. He can catch out the backfield. He can block. And you got to think, Keenan Allen is getting older at wide receiver. You got a young receiver in Palmer. Mike Williams is probably their best receiving option.
He always hurt.
Like, I think he's
How old is Ekeler?
They got
Who do you think's older, Chubb or Ekeler?
Ekeler.
Ekeler about 60.
No, I mean they're 28 and 27. Eckler's a tiny bit older, but they are right in the same.
But they don't got. Hey,
age
look,
range.
first of all, it's a different body though.
Very different body.
Very
Yeah.
different body. Like it's a 3-0
Put it to
body.
you this way.
And then it's a landslide body.
Put it to you this way. He's probably option 2 in the passing game, option 1 in the running game. So,
Yeah.
talking about Ekeler.
Man,
So,
Yeah.
y'all gotta cut this out. Like this man literally, he might have what?
you ain't
18
telling me
touchdowns,
that.
like-
Listen.
I went for the last 2 seasons.
I
How
mean,
many
but
touchdowns has he
It
thrown?
ain't no landslide though.
Yes, it is.
He just
it
hit
definitely
17 and
is.
15.
It definitely
You
is.
do know that.
17 and 15.
You know Chubb getting the ball taken out his hand.
No.
and shit, right?
See,
Eckler had 20
no,
touchdowns in
no.
2021 and 18 touchdowns in
What,
2022.
why are we?
No. See, here's the thing, Tyvis.
Why are we doing this?
Because you understand this. If you running, you know what? If this is the misnomer is that Chubb is not gonna have the ball taken out of his hands. Do you know with less people in the box, Chubb gonna have the ball and he's gonna score more because them is touchdowns. I love to see DBs tackle him. I want you to be in dime. As a matter of fact, I love you to be in dime. They need to be able to run out of passing formations and pass out of run formations.
So you banking on Chubb breaking long runs?
Oh, he's gonna have really long runs. Yes.
Okay.
Them light boxes, them little, I can't listen. And this is new. This is music to my ears, because guess what? Them light boxes, you for the first time is gonna get to see. You used to seeing Chubb get the ball, break a tackle in the backfield, make somebody miss, and then get 7 yards.
Last week, me and McNuggets was just talking about this. I feel like that his touches will decrease, but I think his yards per carry will increase.
Especially, you got to think, and he was splitting time.
Okay.
He was splitting time, Tyvis.
Okay.
Listen, like Kareem Hunt.
He's
I'm telling you.
still gonna split time.
And this the new Nick Chubb, by the way. This the new Nick Chubb that go back and forth with people on Twitter. This the Nick Chubb that be talking now. You don't even know, bro. This dude is the Super Saiyan version. This crazy. He talking now.
I hear you who you try to convince, me or yourself?
Hey, I'm just throwing it out there.
My answer is solidified. It's not. It's nothing you can say to me that's gonna change my answer.
I'm just warming it up.
Austin Ekeler will have more touchdowns.
I'm
All right,
just
we're going to move on
This
to
Nick Chubb.
the
Book it.
receivers here. The Browns have a clear-cut number 1 in Amari Cooper. The Jaguars have a clear-cut number 1 coming off a suspension in Calvin Ridley. So
I
we'll
forgot
have more
about him.
receiving yards in the upcoming season.
I forgot it.
Amari Cooper or Calvin Ridley?
Who does Calvin Ridley play for again?
The
Jacksonville.
Jaguars.
Oh, he's out of here. He ain't gonna be getting rocked like that. He ain't gonna listen. That's Travis Etienne just down there just listen. Calvin Ridley. I forgot he was playing.
It's easy.
It's easy. Earl, tell us why it's easy and you're going with Amari Cooper.
So we just talked about that this morning, man. This is Mr. Reliable right here, man. Six seasons in the NFL with over 1,000 yards. He's one of 4 active wide receivers that have accomplished such a feat. If there's anybody that Deshaun Watson can absolutely rely on and bank on, like depend on the whole 9, it's Amari Cooper. Calvin Ridley ain't played football in a year. Everybody talked about how 300-some days, 700-some days off affected Deshaun Watson. This man ain't touched the football field in a minute. And not only that, Trevor Lawrence already got chemistry with other wide receivers that's been there for a year longer. I think that this is a young man in Calvin Ridley who's talented, but he's going to have to find his place in Jacksonville to where we already know what's up with Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Listen, let's say, hanging with Mr. Cooper. That's when I'm Mr. Cooper. 1,202 yards. Ridley, listen, I like you, bro, but you ain't played in weeks. It's been months, and you need to stay off FanDuel, too. Stop it. 1,063 yards. Don't be on FanDuel. Do not be on BetUSA. None of that. 1,063. You do come back, but I listen, this is an easy, and it's an easy 1,200 for Cooper. You know why? It's lightweight. You can't double him. This is why I keep trying. You're not doubling him. He going to see singles. And this is the great thing about having a nice running back and Nick Chubb being out there being a menace. And a tight end and some guys that can work in the middle. You can't double Cooper. He out there giving you route. He giving you feet. He stemming on you. He breaking it. He doing tic-tac-toe on boys out
Christian
here.
Kirk had a good
Tic-tac-toe.
He did.
Evan Ingram had a good year.
They did. I like him. I like Calvin Ridley for the fact, but I got to go with Amari Cooper. You got Cooper
Tyvis,
too.
you're going with Cooper too, right?
Ridley had a
Crazy.
He had a crazy year before the suspension.
He had some stupid numbers before he got suspended. But like I said, everybody's alluding to, he's been gone for a year, and you gotta get that chemistry back. Now, is it different from receiver, and is it different that he had to go through what he's going through and what Deshaun had to go through? Yeah, absolutely, because that wide receiver, you're just running the route. It's up to the quarterback to ultimately get you the ball, and Trevor Lawrence played really well last year. I do think he needs to take another step. However, I think they're more of a balanced team. I think they work because they're not asking Trevor Lawrence to do a whole lot, but he is being very productive of what they're asking him to do. I do think he takes the next step. I do think Calvin Ridley helps him stretch the field to take the next step, but I just think it's going to take a while for him to get back to that form. So I got a good 800 to 900 yards for Ridley this season, but Amari Cooper is one of those guys that's, like I say, the route running is unbelievable. He's going to be open from the time to the day he retires, because his route running and his ability to get open and create separation is far none than anybody in the NFL, and that's just something that can't be taught. As long as you can do that, you will always be productive, so that's why he always keeps 1,000 or more yards.
Yeah, I agree with my man's right here, man. I think really it'd be somewhere between 700 and 800 yards.
Dang!
I think
For Ridley?
yeah.
Real quick, do you guys know his last full season was 2020? He only played 5 games in 21 before he got hurt and then traded and suspended for 2022. Do you know his stats from 20? I'd forgotten.
It was stupid.
It was
he had
crazy.
Like 17,
Yeah, it was
he had
ridiculous.
he had 1,500 yards?
He had 90 catches, just shy of 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but I still think he's gonna have about
Hey.
700-800 yards. His
I'm
first
not
year at
disagreeing with that.
Jacksonville.
I'm just saying I forgot how good that
That's
season
why,
was.
that's why I wrote it on the board.
And I'm locking in Amari for another 1,000 yards.
He was crazy.
I gave Earl the concussion face. I was like, dang.
To be fair, he was in Atlanta. I think Julio was still there. I think they might have just gotten rid of Julio, or maybe Julio was still there. So he had.
No, Julio was gone.
Okay, well, he was the number one option. I mean, Kyle Pitts just got there, 2 years
No,
ago?
Pitts wasn't there. Pitts was there 20.
Yeah, he was the only option.
So what y'all
they
telling
had
me-
to force him the ball.
So what y'all telling me, Calvin Ridley is the worst good receiver from Alabama?
No. Where you get that from?
Who
I
said
mean,
that?
he's not better than Waddle. He's not better than Devontae Smith. He's sure not better than Jamison Williams. He's not better than Amari Cooper.
Better than Judy.
Listen, hey.
Oh, that's
I'm not sure how many of those dudes have had 1,400-yard seasons. Say what you want, but I'm not sure how many of those guys have had
I'm just saying.
1,400-yard
I just threw the name. Which one of them are Alabama receivers is you visiting take off the board for Ridley?
Well, Jamison Williams
give me the list
So
again.
you got Jamison Williams.
He's played 2 games.
He don't
can't put him in
count,
that
man.
category yet.
He don't count.
I would take Ridley over Williams.
What?
I would take I would take
100%.
I
He
would
ain't played,
1,000%
bro.
take Ridley over
He ain't
Jamison
played in the
Williams.
Jamison
NFL.
played
Yes.
3 games.
Yes.
Or 5
And
games.
he's
Yes,
suspended for the
I
first
would.
6 this
Are
year.
you serious?
And he's suspended for the first 6 games this year.
Up
Well,
to-
listen, they need to stop. They need to stop doing fantasy football. Him and his boy.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jamison Williams is better than him. He was drafted higher, and he has more upside.
He better than who?
That means
He better than
nothing.
Ridley.
That
You
means
crazy.
nothing.
He's better than Ridley.
Ridley really
crazy.
like that.
Amari Cooper.
No.
Hey,
Come
G.
on.
Bush, listen.
I'm not
Jamison Williams has 1 career catch.
Amari Cooper. Wait, time out. Amari Cooper
Jamison
what?
Williams has 1 career
Who
catch.
better
You
than
can't
Amari
say he's
Cooper?
better.
I said no. Amari Cooper's better than
Oh,
Ridley.
okay.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying no to Ridley.
Devontae Smith.
I might go with Ridley.
Over Devontae Smith.
I might.
Oh man,
I just
boy.
might.
He bigger.
Boy,
I
stop.
just might.
Stop.
Okay. You
So-
forgot. You really
Now
forgot.
it's a good compare. Him and Jerry Judy is.
No, it's not close.
It's
not even close. Jerry Judy has not lived up to the first round pick since he's been in the league.
Hey man, they both listen. It's debatable.
No.
It's debatable.
Jerry
How-
Judy's never had 1,000
That's
yards.
what I'm saying. What are you talking
And Ridley
about?
had 1,400.
It's debatable.
No, it's not.
It's debatable.
No, it's not.
I think, listen, I would pick Amari Cooper. I agree with all 3 of you guys. Cooper's the answer, but I think Ridley's in for a big season. All right, moving on. Who will have more receiving touchdowns this year? Receiving touchdowns. Elijah Moore or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Who Juju play for now?
He's now the Patriots' #1 target.
Oh boy, stop. Like boys, Earl might get more targets in New England. These boys in New England is fantasy killers.
And if you guys all agree, we'll move through this one quick because we got a couple
Hey,
left.
I wrote an article on my website
Stop playing,
a
man.
couple months ago.
I ain't even
and
put
it said the Browns get more with Elijah Moore. Everybody talk about this dude's playmaking ability. We all have seen the different ways the Cleveland Browns plan on using Elijah Moore, man. This dude is going to be a touchdown machine. Like, seriously.
You had a lot of good ones, and this is the worst one.
Yeah,
you've
this
come up
is
with.
this is.
Well, listen, Moore's tough to compare to because he hasn't. We all think he's gonna be good, but he hasn't had the production, so it's impossible to find the historical link to say that's that.
People go to the Patriots to die offensively.
But not only that, I trust the quarterback better.
Yeah,
like Moore
man,
here.
yeah,
Like
it's just-
I don't
yeah.
trust Matt Jones.
We ain't even got to talk about that. We let Earl speak for
All
us.
right, we got one more then, and we will wrap up and move on to a Deshaun Watson discussion here. But who will have more receiving yards this year, David Njoku or Dalton Schultz, who is now the #1 target for C.J. Stroud in Houston?
Who have more yards?
More receiving yards.
Hey, look. Njoku, if you don't have more yards than him, we got to have a conversation.
Oh, y'all like
C.J. Stroud. These guys, bro. Listen. Dang, come on. Come on, man. Like, come on, bro. Y'all Ohio State Buckeye lovers.
That's not
bro.
why.
Y'all
Two
been-
Schultz,
That's
one
not-
Njoku.
That ain't even
y'all
why.
cats be
That's not
crazy.
why.
We're gonna start with Njoku, then we'll go to the Schultz
Man,
boys.
oh
Now
my
you think we
gosh, y'all
biased.
cats kill me
not
with that,
why.
bro.
That's not even why,
nothing to do
man.
with
They
Ohio
listen,
State.
it's worse than somewhere Brad is saying, hey, Justin Fields, that man, he go get it done.
It ain't even why.
Bro, come
Justin
on.
It ain't even
Fields
why.
had
CJ
great
Stroud,
fantasy.
It ain't
CJ
even why.
Stroud ain't played a lick of down.
That's not
we
why.
We're gonna take him to church.
They used this against you just said that you know what, he ain't played in the whole year. We don't even know what Jameson Williams gonna be. We don't even know what CJ Stroud gonna be. Now they got Schultz getting more yards than stop it.
You want to know why?
Why?
Let's tell him.
Name me who they receiving core is.
Nico Collins,
Bums.
John Mechie,
So who is the only reliable
a.k.a.
guy?
nobody.
Just there it is. The correct answer could be AKA none of the above.
So why would it? So who does Schultz have to worry about fighting for the ball?
He's self-checked. He might want to figure like he's self-checked, bro. He ain't
Are you serious?
You got him
You
like
know
he's
who-
top 10 or something.
You know who Schultz?
Yeah.
He is.
You got him like he top 10 like that.
He is.
No, he's not
He
top
is.
10.
I'm gonna give. Can I give you the other reason
Are
why?
you serious?
The Brown side, Jordan Akins, and I can promise you that he gonna take away targets and yards from David Njoku, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. I got it on good account that Deshaun Watson got a great relationship with him both on the field and off the field. And when you're looking for somebody that you trust in the red zone, somebody that you already got chemistry with, outside of DeAndre Hopkins, Jordan Akins was the other guy. Yeah, and I got this information from somebody who actually covered the Houston Texans. Has been doing so for a while. I think Atkins is going to come in here. I think that's the sleeper signing for the Browns this year. I think he's going to take targets and yards away from David Njoku. Not to say Njoku won't have a good season, but it ain't going to be what people think. He's going to be sharing
to
that.
get yards from Schultz. The question is he gonna have more yards than Schultz? Not
gonna-
more than
listen,
George
No,
Kittle.
but I'm telling you, like,
All I'm gonna tell you is, you see how Lamar Jackson's favorite target was Mark Andrews.
Let's
That's
not-
gonna be pretty much how the Texans roll.
bro, listen.
It's gonna be a Dalton Schultz
If
because
you-
that's the only reliable guy.
If you were
Unless Tank Dell just become that guy.
if you were 62, I don't care how reliable you are. You are 62 on Madden.
I hear you.
Listen, David Njoku. See, this is you better get these dudes together, bro. They be playing with your
it
name
ain't
out
even
here.
playing. I mean, here's the thing. The Browns
with
got a
your name.
lot of weapons, right? Like, this is not one of those situations to where I think that there's going to be one particular player on the Browns, like, dominating targets, dominating carries or anything. This is going to be an offense that's everybody going to eat. Everybody going to feast, man. It's going to, whoever open, that's who getting the ball. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like with the receiving core, and you add another tight end like that, you got to remember, man, Mary Kay told us on this show, Deshaun Watson has had his hand in damn near everything that had to do with constructing the offense this year. You look at the quarterback room. You look at some of the additions that was made in free agency. There's a tight end that just came to Cleveland that's going to take targets away from David Njoku. And that don't mean David Njoku won't have a good year or won't ball out, but the weapons is plenty here. And if you believe that Kevin Stefanski is finally finna unveil this offense that we all think that's that he's been waiting to do. He was just waiting on the right quarterback to do it in the right situation. I just think there's gonna be too many people that's gonna be eating for him to have that, a high yardage.
What I want is this: if there's a mismatch, I ain't in the spread nothing. I want to punish people where they got a mismatch at. Because that's what happens to the Browns. They don't be spread nothing on the Browns. They be like, oh, y'all can't talk in the secondary? Touchdown, Jets. Oh, you can't tackle nobody up front? Run to the left side, 36 yards. Now listen, no. I want these dudes to get, for once, I want my people to have it. You see how they be on the spread around? Nick Chubb can't get 1,200. Amari Cooper gonna get it. Like they want everybody with 500 yards. I'm not signing up for that.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to see no.
I'm not saying that the
600.
The Njoku ain't gonna. He's gonna have about 700 yards.
Hey, David,
700 yards. I give him 4 touchdowns.
David, if you watching,
7 and 4.
You know, now we get the other panel up here. They're gonna start talking about your money, David. David Njoku is not worth this amount of money.
No.
Hey, listen, these dudes. I'm saying, you better get it together. Better go get it.
Well, as spirited as that was, the chat is also quite split on some of these. And whenever we read you some comments from chat brought to us by our dear friends at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are starting off for all positions at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and the sign-in bonus. You can apply online.
That man, you see how hard they working against me?
Careers to learn more.
Steve ain't right.
That's how hard they working over here.
Steve. That's a dirty move by Steve. A couple projections from the chat real quick before we move on. This from Logan Farkas. He says, I love Njoku, but my expectations for him is about 650, 700 yards. I think Schultz is going to get at least 900. Bill Gaynor says Njoku's at the share targets with too many players, so I'm going to go with Schultz. A couple guys have also picked Schultz, but also a lot of guys in the chat going with Njoku. KR Thunder says if he's a red zone threat like he did the last couple of years, he could put up a monster season. So pretty even split here, and I think that's a pretty good comparison to how we feel. Only 2 exact splits, or not splits, clean sweeps, and most of those were at least 2-1 splits. So a lot of good conversation coming forward and a lot of fun things to monitor as we move on throughout the season. But we got into the next topic real quick.